talking to Chin, our guest here, online a couple weeks ago, and I thought I'd invite her in and have a chat. So we're going to do a little interview today with Chin, Chong Tom, and David Luekens. Let me introduce them first. I know there's people coming in now slowly, but let me just introduce them. First, I think you guys recognize Chin from broadcasts we've done on Periscope. I think we did about 4 tours, right, Chin? Did we do about 3 or 4 tours together?
Yeah. The last one, I thought we do the Burmese market and Thai market and Lao market in the same time in that area, close to
Bang Bong?
Bang Bon. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
was the last one.
local
I
one.
think the Burmese market wasn't open, but you showed me that area though. So, but I think
Yeah.
you guys remember
A little
Chin.
bit in that day.
Yeah, right. There was only a
Sorry,
few things
pardon?
open.
Yeah.
So I think you know Chin from our broadcasts. I think we first did our broadcast. It was like 2017. Uh, Chin has been featured on TV in Europe, in Luxembourg. She was on a food show called
Uh,
Anna's Kitchen there, right?
yeah.
You've been mentioned in countless publications, BuzzFeed, Michelin Guide, Guardian, The Independent. Her website is www.foodtoursbangkok.com, and she's most active on Chili Paste Tours on Instagram. Chili Paste Tour. I did a tweet with all her information, so you can follow her there. She's also on Twitter too, but I think she directs you to Instagram there. So
Instagram. I post more picture there. Yeah.
yeah, I think you're most active there. So, and let me introduce David, also David Luekens. He's a writer for travelfish.org. He's been writing with them for 8 years. Travelfish is the popular website that gives you advice on travel in Southeast Asia. He's based in Bangkok, Thailand, and his articles have been featured in CNN Traveler, Condé Nast Traveler, and he just launched a newsletter last year, the Thai Island Times. So please subscribe to that. I have a tweet that I posted his information also. And you can also follow him on Twitter. He's pretty active there too, right, Dave?
Yeah, maybe too much. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Hi, Paula. Hi, everybody watching too, everybody coming in. Okay, so I guess first, Chin and David, maybe you want to tell us what's the situation in Thailand right now, just to kind of frame this whole story.
Okay, you want me?
Yeah.
It's pretty gloomy right now. I think today I just looked. There's 9,200 something COVID cases and more than 70 deaths, which that's an all-time high for cases and deaths in Thailand. Things have been going pretty much downhill for, well, I mean, Thailand, throughout most of 2020, we were doing really well here. Like pretty much no cases. Last year, during most of last year, we were able to travel around Thailand with no problems. Obviously, the country was closed to international travel, so that had a big effect on a lot of tour companies like Chin's, obviously. But at least we could travel. But then so far this year, things have really kind of gone sideways, especially since April. That's when like the third wave started, and it's just been getting worse and worse. And now it's like, it's getting really bad now, where they don't have enough hospital beds in a lot of places, especially in Bangkok. It's really hard for people to get tested. People are like waiting all night. Like I saw a picture of people waiting in the rain all night to get tested just last night, and that kind of thing. So it's it's pretty gloomy. But they did just reopen, start a tourism reopening through Phuket. So that maybe we talk about that in a bit. But yeah, it's pretty not looking too good right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've seen the news, and I know you guys had a pretty good year last year. It was kind of envious because we've had up and down for 2 years. There's been not much of a bright spot at all. So seeing you guys last year, seeing everybody being able to kind of, I guess, enjoy the country. I don't know if it's. I know that it was still not a great situation, but you did have a pretty good last year, and now I know you guys aren't doing too great, but there is a bright spot, like you mentioned, about the Phuket sandbox. So, do you want to talk about that? What's happening there? That's something kind of to
Yeah,
look forward to.
yeah, they just started it out on July 1st. So they're allowing. It's the first time since March 2020 that they're allowing international inbound travelers into Thailand with. Well, it's not quite no quarantine, but before you had to do like 14 days. Everybody had to do 14 days in quarantine. So now you get tested after you arrive. You have to arrive at Phuket, and you have to take a direct flight
Okay.
to Phuket airport from outside of Thailand. That's how it is now. They might allow transit in Bangkok maybe next month or something, but we're not sure. But for now, you have to fly into Phuket. You have to get tested right after you get there, and then you have to wait in your hotel room for like maybe 8 hours or 10 hours, until you get the result of the test. And you have to be you have to be fully vaccinated. You have to come from like a medium to low risk country. So there's a list of
Okay.
those, but it includes like the US and UK and quite a few countries. But then after you get cleared of that test, then you're allowed to travel around Phuket like completely freely. You have to do 2 more tests over a mandatory 14-day period where you have to stay in Phuket. But after that, if you test negative on all those tests and you follow all the rules and everything, then you can leave Phuket. And well, in theory, you can travel anywhere you want around Thailand, but that's actually kind of a gray area right now because because there's a lot of restrictions like locally, like provincial governors of Thailand has 77 provinces, so each governor has like some of them have restrictions on allowing domestic travel. So you can come into Phuket, and you can definitely go to you could fly straight from Phuket to Koh Samui, for example. I think you could fly to Chiang Mai. So there are options, but it's a first step for them to start opening. Yeah.
Okay. Someone asked, do they require insurance policies?
Yeah, they do. You have to have $100,000 US a policy that covers up to $100,000 US specifically in COVID treatment. So it has to say that in the policy. Like if you have an insurance policy that doesn't say that, but it will cover it, then you have to get the company to write a letter that says that it will cover COVID up to $100,000 US. Yeah. That's one of the rules. Yeah.
How easy is it to get that? I'm not really familiar with it. How easy is it to get something like that?
I'm not really. I guess it can be pretty expensive. I mean, I haven't looked into it that much because we have local insurance here in Thailand which covers it. So like if I were to go back to the US or something and then fly back, then I would be okay because my policy here covers it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're, I really don't know. You'd have to ask all an individual individual insurance companies what they say. It could depend on your age and things like that too. Yeah, but I guess it can. What I hear is that it can be a bit of a pain to get it, a bit expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear a few things, something like that. So, okay, so now things have been closed, the doors have been closed. How has it affected you, Chin? How has it affected your life the past 2 years? I can't even imagine the situation for you.
It's like a bankrupt. It's like the bomb throw in your face, like just like explode in your face, and and things like that. But actually, last year is not like, okay, we have some saving, but not really think like gonna be too long like this. So in like 3 months after COVID, I still enjoy cooking. Like, oh, fun,
Yeah.
it's fine, my day off. Like
Yeah.
after that was it's too long. Take a break. Too long avoid my
Yeah.
vacation, right?
Yeah.
So well, it's like we live in Bangkok, right? It's like in the condo, in the apartment. It's kind of like you just go back and down, down, up and down, and like you you cannot see like another place so much because like everywhere was get this year is more problem, but last year is not really so bad. We still a little bit travel like from my place to my kitchen. I can still like go to the Samut Songkram, take a fruit, lychee. Still like okay, have fun with or like pick all the vegetable and things like that, and
Yeah.
cooking and start like a online sell snack and
Okay.
things like that. Yeah, but this year is kind of like, oh, you have to cook just for yourself.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that. All the market like mm, I went 3 days ago at the market, the one we went last year, Drop Mall Market. That is like own Bangkok town. It's like almost empty.
Is it?
I asked some question of them there. It's like kind of like, oh, like too bad they cannot really like sell so much like before, but they still can make some a little money.
Mm.
Some of them was go back their country home, like that.
Like another province.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
another
so
province.
so are the markets open?
They was closed last time for like maybe few days for cleaning. And then it's open. But it's not much seller. It's not like it's totally different from the one you see last year.
Yeah.
The when you came to the tour, yeah, it's very different. It's almost like okay, like maybe last time in that market could be like more than 1,000 people sell, right?
Yeah.
But now it's maybe like 300 or 400.
Oh really? And
That's
Mm-hmm.
what
how? Okay, let me talk about you first. How are you being supported? Are you being supported by the government? Is any way? Is there any subsidy or any money from the government to help you?
And not really. They was still charge the same price of the guide license of the company or the insurance. We still have to do everything the same normal. We not have support. Just only like from TAT, I think. They tell the guy to make the video maybe like 3 video for 2,400 baht. That's it.
Make videos.
Yeah, like about 3 minutes video for make some money for like what you do in the COVID time, and just only 3 video for the guide tour guide.
Wow.
So everybody do maybe like can get like 2,400 baht for that.
Just one
And
time,
another, yeah, just one time from the last
right.
year.
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not enough, obviously. So how can I ask you what? I don't know if this is too private, but what are you doing to? I know you said you're doing online sales. What are you doing to get an income in this situation?
I'm not really have income at all.
Oh, really?
Um, Yeah, so some of my guests very lovely. They pay for the in advance, but I don't know when they can come. But I just maybe like 2 or 3 people. Yeah, just that.
Okay.
And
And
everything has everything absolutely have to pay the same. Even you in the COVID time, even you are not have income, you still have to pay the debt. You still have to pay
yeah,
all the rent.
right.
Not have any yeah.
And David, how about you? How has the past 2 years been? How has it affected you?
well, I mean, I was doing freelancing before, like mostly for like travel and some like travel marketing writing.
Mm.
And I lost most of the clients that I had like right around April 2020. So I've been able to make a little bit of money off the newsletter, and I mean, I've done a little bit of freelancing work. I did some work for CNN Travel and for Horizon Guides, which is a travel guide online publisher out of the UK. And I've done some copywriting. I mean, I've been better off than Chin because at least, I can get some online work.
Right.
But yeah, it's been not a great year financially for either of us. And I mean, to add to what Chin was saying, I mean, like there really hasn't been any help from the government for, I mean, there was a domestic tourism stimulus program where the government like subsidized travel like for domestic tourists.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it didn't really help. Like, that did help. Like, companies, because I mean, Thailand really kind of has two different tourism industries. I mean, there's overlap, but I mean, like their company like Chin's is pretty much 100% based on foreign tourists.
Right.
So she doesn't get like Thai tourists or domestic tourists. So that didn't help her. Companies like her. There's so many companies, tour companies, guest houses, all kinds of companies that rely, especially in places like Phuket and Koh Samui, that rely on foreign tourists, not domestic tourists. So, I mean, like last year, those companies that rely more on domestic tourists would have gotten, their share of travelers anyway, their share of income anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the government should have really helped. I mean, it's 16 months, and like companies that rely on foreign tourists haven't gotten anything really. I mean, the government did do some like just kind of like general handouts to Thai citizens, I think like under a certain income level, but that was only like total of like, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 baht, right? Kunchin, did you get like 22,000 or something from the government?
That is like 2,400 for the tour guide for the 3 video, right? And like 5,000 for 3 months. It's about 15,000 baht for 3 months.
Yeah, 50.
Only.
Yeah.
That for last year.
And
But
2
this year,
years. That's 2 years, right? That's what you got for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the situation is pretty different here. Like Japan has quite a large domestic tourism industry. There's a lot of people travel domestically. It's very different from there. And that's what I was going to say. Like Phuket seemed like it was apocalyptic, right? Just nobody there, nothing. Everybody shut down. Nothing.
Yeah, it was like split screen where like, destinations that get a lot of domestic tourists were like normal. Like we took a trip up to Isan last year to like some places like Bumkan and like Nakhon Phanom that is like mainly got domestic tourists, and they were normal, like hotels were full, but at the same time, like all these islands and places that had, were mainly like foreign tourism destinations were like empty and like ghost town, kind of like, if you went to like, even now, if you went to go to like Patong Beach in Phuket or like Chaweng and Koh Samui, it's just like, I mean, almost every business. We went to Khao San Road just the other day and just walked around, and it was like almost everything. I mean, like every single shop is just like shut. I counted like maybe eight businesses that were open in that whole area, like Khao San and Rambutri and all those roads are like all around there. I mean, it's just like there's like no one there basically. It's really weird and eerie.
I can't even imagine.
Even the temple, they close it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All the around here, the monk cannot go in the morning walk, and people offering the food, right? So all the temple, the people, if you want to offering the food or something to the monk, you have to go and hang in the door of the monk. The monk cannot go out now. Yeah.
Wow.
And all the temple, they shut down the door. Yeah, close the door.
I didn't know that. Wow. Okay, let me ask you this too. So when I thought about this situation, one of the first group of people I thought about were those street vendors, those market vendors. You said that some of them went back to their hometowns. What are they doing to support themselves? How are they living?
Uh,
Do you know anything about that?
so it's some friend of my friend guy. She was go to be a farmer, and another one was motorbike grab, and another people is selling online. Them do the cooking. Some like the last year, and actually the people, some of them was move out already, so they be there now. Because they really don't know when the tourist gonna coming again, and maybe come, but it's not the same. And all the law of the travel was different now. So like if you start to do a tour and um, for the hygienic and thing, is really hard for like the market to like really walking. But I'm pretty sure they can like, last time we do and standing and try the food, right? But for now,
Yeah.
everything in the plastic box and wrap very well. You have to tie on
Yeah.
that. And yeah, it's for the global warming is kind of like a lot of plastic wrap because they don't want the people touch
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And for real to see the market more cleaner
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
no
Yeah. It
alcohol
is.
everywhere
Yeah. That's
and
right.
smell good. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
And the
um,
people like just like you don't know what you smile or you not smile, it's just close it. And
mm,
you have to see just like, oh, you are really like your eyes are open, like
yeah.
thing like that.
Did you get any domestic customers? Do you have any domestic customers?
Uh not until now.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and you had like a couple expats, right? Like last year after Richard Barrow, after you did the tour
Yeah.
with Richard
But
Barrow, and then you got like maybe 2 tours or something, right? But this
yeah, but that
it's
one
very
he was
little.
stuck in Bangkok. Yeah, they wait for to go somewhere. They stuck in Bangkok, and then after that, what they do the tour. We have like two tour. So like,
Mhm.
yeah,
2 tours.
we have
We had two. All right.
two
Well.
tours,
All
two
right.
tours.
Okay. We actually one of my friends here. He lives in Chiang Mai. He said many NGOs relying to overseas donations have trouble coming up with money to support basic operation. So even the NGOs are affected too. Is that right? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I don't know too much about that, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me really. I think that the economy is just so bad all over the world.
Right.
I mean, in Thailand, I know that there are NGOs. Like one example that comes to mind is the Wildlife Friends Foundation, Thailand, in Phetchaburi, like north of Hua Hin. They do really good work, like as an animal sanctuary for like rescuing, like elephants and gibbons and animals that, like, for example, if a zoo closes, they'll take the animal in if it has nowhere else to go.
I see.
And they relied on tourism money, on money from tourists who come to just like look at the animals. I mean, it wasn't like a zoo, like it's very well done, it's like a real sanctuary. But they did get a lot of donations from tourists, and they are really struggling now. And I know there are a lot of places like that, especially for elephants, because they eat so much and they just cost so much to take care of it. Like if you don't have tourists coming, like I know the WFFT, they're getting some donations, but it's not enough to make up for it.
I see. Yeah. So it's affecting everybody, trickling everybody, not just
Yeah,
NGOs, just everyone. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
What else was I going to say? So, what do you think about the government's response in general to this situation? I don't know if you can talk about it, but what do you think about the response to this situation?
Chin, you want to give your opinion, and then I'll
I
give mine.
you
Me, okay. I mean, it's well, I mean, last year, like people thought it was pretty good. I mean, you know, Thailand was like Vietnam or Taiwan. It was like one of these countries that
Yeah,
had, you know, kind
right.
of flattened the curve, you know, and
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, the things have really changed so much in the last few months. I mean, their government is getting a ton of criticism right now. I mean, people are really angry because, you know, there's there's such little help. It's not only businesses that rely on tourism. It's also like restaurants and like, you
Yeah.
know, like gyms, for example, have been closed. Bars have been closed since April, and there's been no assistance for them. And I think a lot of people feel like the government is just kind of, I mean, they, you know, they didn't like they've been, you know, instituting these like kind of like half measures to stop COVID, like closing bars and closing gyms. Like
Yeah.
they closed all of Bangkok's public parks for like a while.
I
Like
saw that.
Lumpini Park was closed, which a lot of people were like, but malls stayed open, you know, and a lot of people were
Uh,
like, well, why can't we, you know, I mean, a city
go
like
outside.
Bangkok is pretty high density. Like, you know, if you can't go and exercise in a park, it's pretty tough. You know, it's a tough
No,
place to
you have to
be.
run with the mask as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I'd say it's um yeah, it not a very good job right now on either the economic or the health sides of the crisis, in my opinion.
my perspective from Japan was the first year, the government seemed to be uh, balancing more of business demands and the health,
Yeah.
whereas Thailand more was fully about lockdown and containing the virus. I didn't get that impression at all about Japan. Uh, and even
Yeah.
recently, too, we lifted restrictions too early for businesses, and that caused a huge explosion in infections. And Osaka was the talk of the world because we had no more beds. So
Yeah.
a little bit different from my side. I see Thailand did great, and I still think pretty good compared to Japan and how they responded to. I think Japan did too much. We're considering businesses too much and not enough about the medical.
Yeah.
You could hear the Fauci of Japan. His name's Dr. Omi, was giving them advice of what to do, and the government wasn't doing that. It was kind of funny to hear, oh, this is what we should do, but they wouldn't do it. Whereas,
Yeah.
Thailand has seemed at first it was very strict, and the whole year, not very many infections, and it was you guys did
Yeah.
great.
Uh,
So
But they kind of changed course like this year, where they kind of it seems like they kind of stopped listening to the public health experts and started
okay,
favoring the economy because I think
understandably,
yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to that they don't want to or don't feel they're able to provide financial assistance, so they feel like they have to keep, you
I see.
know, things open, but then it's like, I mean, right now Bangkok doesn't have enough hospital beds. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, you know, there's a shortage of ICU beds. There's like a lot of videos and pictures coming out of people, you know, COVID patients who have to like be treated. They're like in stretchers outside in out in the open air in front of hospitals and that kind of thing. So it's like, you know, they did close a lot of businesses and a lot of things the last few months, but it hasn't helped, you know, really. I mean, almost we're getting towards 10,000 cases a day now here, and
Yeah.
I think I saw in Nikkei Asia, the publication, they do like a chart of 120 large countries of
Mhm.
who's handling COVID the best. You know, and Thailand used to be right at near the top of that list
Yeah.
last year, and right now it's 118 out of 120. So it's like,
Uh,
you know, not
well,
too
I guess the
good.
other thing is
Yeah.
the variants too, right? The
Yeah.
because they're more infectious.
Yeah,
No
right.
matter
The Delta
how
variant
restrictive
here
you
is,
are, then it is going
yeah,
to spread. And
yeah,
I wouldn't want to be the person making decisions in this circumstance, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The Delta variant is spreading here pretty widely now. So that's, yeah.
And
And, the vaccine situation is the other concern,
did I hear correctly?
the vaccine rollout's been really slow and, pretty bumpy so far.
Is it true
I
that
not
they're
get
not
even one shot yet.
testing? Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't get your shot. Are they not testing for the
No.
variants? What variants are there?
They are,
cannot
but
test.
well,
I'm sorry.
they are. I mean, when they do normal testing, no, they don't test for variants, but they are doing testing, so they get like some idea. But like they'll test like 2,000 people in one city or something like that, like to see like what the variants are, and based on that, what they're finding is that the Delta variant has, I mean, just in the last like couple weeks, it went from like 12% to like closer to 50% now.
Yeah.
And it could be more than that. And just also with like the how difficult it is to get testing here. Like a lot of hospitals are turning away COVID patients because, especially private hospitals, because they say they don't have beds, so they're not going to test people, because if they test positive, they don't have anywhere to put them. So like we really don't know. I mean, the number of cases and the number of deaths is definitely way higher than
really?
the officially reported numbers right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's not just me saying that. It's like, some top doctors came out just in the last few days and said that.
John
Yeah,
is
two to three times. Yeah. Yeah, if not more. Yeah.
So Chin, you haven't taken the vaccine, and have you got any? I don't know what the system is like. How is the system like there, Chin, to get vaccines? It's different than here. I think we need to get vouchers here. How is it there?
Actually, they not have in the beginning. They not have any choice for you have to reserve and with more prom program. But then after that they cancel. They have another program to apply and reserve for that. And then after that is kind of like vaccine was slow and depend on the day you reserve and how many people get in case, and they let you know you will got sure or you will wait until the vaccine came, but they not really tell you what the vaccine you're gonna get. But I think it's for me on the 22nd this
Okay.
month. That's the first shot for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but is the all the guy is the 80,000 to I think it's about 80,000 people. Some they got already two shots, some they got just one, and some is not get yet.
Oh, so it's very low. Vaccination rate is very
Yeah,
low.
yeah.
I see.
In the beginning, they think the other guy was get first because they want
Oh
to
yeah.
open the country and think, yeah, but then all that program is gone. You have to come back
Except
in
for
normal.
Phuket. If you
Yeah,
live in Phuket,
it's
then you get the vaccine, but nowhere else.
yeah,
Really,
yeah.
you get an advantage because they're opening up.
Yeah, there's like 80% has one shot in Phuket, and then the rest of the country is like, just over 10%. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
That's well, I guess that's a first step to to open up the world. So I guess it's safer. Do you think it's an effective system the way they're doing that with the sandbox? Do you think it is a good idea or not?
I think it's yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, if anything, a lot of people think that it's too restrictive in terms of like, because you have to get tested, you have to have, 2 shots of a vaccine, you have to get tested before departure, you have to have $100,000, up to $100,000 in insurance, and then you have to get tested 3 times in Phuket. So it's a lot of testing. It's still a lot. Like there have been some glitches in the system to apply for it. A lot, like some of the people who had planned on coming like right in like last week, like July 1st or the first few days of the program, couldn't make their flights because they couldn't get the certificate of entry, it's called, from the application process. There were glitches, and they actually added a new rule where it was just convoluted. I don't want to go. I don't want to bore you explaining all the little details of it, but yeah, a lot of people had some problems with it, and but I think like in the long term, it's a start, and I mean, it's not going to like open the floodgates of international tourism or anything like that, but I think they're starting something, and we'll see what happens and see how well it goes. Like one of the tourists who's come in the sandbox program already tested positive for COVID.
I saw
if that if that happens, then you have to go straight to a hospital for 2 weeks. So it's risky for tourists, like because there are some COVID cases spreading on Phuket too. It's like single digits per day what's being reported, but there is a risk that you go there and then you test positive, and then you immediately have to go to a hospital. I mean, it would ruin your whole holiday, obviously.
And the people you're with have to quarantine too, also.
Right? Yeah, and even maybe like people that were around you, on the plane or something like that too. Might have to. So yeah, it's risky. But it's a start. I mean, I have respect for the people that some of these travelers. I mean, a lot of the people that are using the program now are like people like us who live here. Some are Thai citizens, some are expats like me who are just like have been trying to, waiting for a quarantine, either quarantine to go down or disappear, and then now they're finally coming back. But there are some tourists, and like I've been looking at some of the Facebook groups for the Phuket Sandbox, and some of these people are like, yeah, I'm doing it, like I don't care, I want to try it, and I'm coming to Thailand for a month or something like that. But again, with the COVID situation here right now too, that really kind of puts a damper on things too. It's like, I mean, even on Phuket, bars are closed nationwide, so there's like that's a big that's a big thing missing for a lot of people. And I mean, even in some provinces, like beaches are closed, or at least closed like part of the time, and things like that. So it'd be a lot different if Thailand were still like COVID free. Then it would be, I think, a lot more attractive to more tourists. But yeah.
Okay, let me just say for the people coming in, so you can follow David on Thailand. He has a newsletter, Thai Island Times. You can subscribe to it, and you can also subscribe, be a paid subscriber, $50 a year or $5 a month too, right?
Yeah, the whole thing's free for now, so it's like more like a donation basis, if people want to support what I'm doing. But yeah, there is an option for that. Yeah.
And Chin, what about you? Where can we get the products? You said you were selling things online. Where do we buy that?
In here. In here. So
what is that?
Is my cookie.
Okay.
Like this, but actually I'm put in the shop as my friend to sell, but like all the business now, you cannot sit down for even have the coffee, you just have to take away. And that is more like the people just go and grab very quick, so they not really see any product of that. Just some my friend order my shortbread treat and thing. And another thing we just like make for like we donate like like some of the example, like the oil is like herbal oil. I just say some make for like my father or like my family, and I give some for the temple, and some friend want to try for that. Is the one thing I do is online cooking class, but have just like one people sign up for that.
Where can people
I know
find you? Where can they sign up?
is actually they was contact me in the Instagram, and it's like what the menu they want to cook. So like about actually was 12 dish. It's about that. For 12 dish could be like 3 milk, 3 dish for the one day, and we set up all that. Some they do with the 4. So it's in the 4 dishes in one day you cooking. So and we have to like what the day you want and what ingredient you have. It's not
Mm,
easy.
no.
Example like Mr. James, he studied cooking class with me many times,
Okay.
and is he very nice and lovely guy. He was very difficult to find, even like fish or the shrimp at his home for that.
Oh yeah, the
And also the
ingredients. Yeah.
ingredient we have,
Mhm.
yeah, for the Thai food is very very hard for them to
Yeah.
looking in their home now. Yeah,
Mhm. So
so not
people can
really
reach
sure.
you. People can contact you on Instagram and ask for cooking
Yeah,
lessons.
yeah, they can. That
Okay.
easy way for them. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have a shop on your website too?
Actually, just for Thai now.
Okay. It's just in Thailand,
Yeah,
just for Thai people. Okay. I thought you were
yeah,
maybe selling
and
something on your
Didn't you
yeah,
export
some
something
tour
to
in
the?
Bangkok.
Didn't you send to London your chili paste jam?
the chili pad jams to Somsa restaurant. is
Okay,
is
good.
like, yeah, like 10 kilogram for that. So
Really?
from, yeah, for the people who live in London, and if you know
Uh,
Somsa, please support my product there.
wow. 10
But
kilograms of chili paste.
10 kilogram, but I'm not really sure what he said. Just finish the website and the package thing. So probably he gonna sell there soon at the Somsa
Okay.
London. Yeah.
Great,
Mhm.
great.
That's chili pad jam you can do with tom yum salad or anything, or you can do with the bread and toast them. It's good too.
Yeah,
So good.
I make not spicy for people there.
I can't wait to go back. I will
Yeah.
book a tour definitely. I didn't do the cooking classes
Uh,
yet. I know you told me to do that, but I will definitely do a
yeah.
tour when I come back for sure.
Uh, yeah.
Okay,
The for
and,
the
and
cooking
you said
class.
too
Mhm.
that people can book your tour in advance, right? So if they
Yeah,
want to
they can
book for
do.
next year or just put the money in front to help you out, they can book and then
Yeah.
you'll remember
If
them
if
and
the guy
book
is
a
still
date.
alive.
So-
If the guy is still alive.
I think you'll be okay.
yeah.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
So what's your
It's
email?
like
Yeah,
um you can do contact in Instagram chili pad tour, and that easy for them. And you can contact it chili pad tour at gmail.com too.
I know many people follow you on Instagram. I can see them liking your picture. I see my mother even watches you on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
most of the people are there. So okay, let me just say hi to people. I'm sorry I didn't neglect you guys here. Jim, thank you for that award. Louise, hello. John, if you're still there. And who else?
Yeah.
Who else gives some awards here? Let's see. Paula, thank you so much to John. Thank you. All right, let me see what other questions I got here. Um, maybe we can talk about some of the. Maybe you can talk about your Substack. I know obviously number one is COVID. Number two story is Phuket Sandbox. But
Yeah.
is there anything else going on in Thailand that you're writing about or that is of interest? Maybe get our minds off that.
Yeah. I mean, the newsletters kind of have two sides. Like on one side, I write about like the tourism reopening stuff, and I've been following that really closely. I've been doing these COVID reports, which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing them because it's takes so much time.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but I also do like just like more like classic kind of travel articles on islands that are completely don't mention COVID. I mean, it just relying on all like the experience that I have from all the years past, like going to all the islands. Um, I've written about a lot of islands like Kakradon, and a lot of it is like I kind of try to go deeper into the islands than a lot of like travel outlets, like writers have done before. Like it's not just like beaches and snorkeling or whatever. It's like I talk about like who the locals are, like where they came from, like the background and history of the islands. you know, like the environment and even like the, you know, geology and things like that, like trying to kind of go, you know, say a little more about it and about these places, that they're not just like tourist attractions, you know, they're actually, you know, real communities and
Right.
cultures
Yeah.
there and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the two sides of it. But yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, all of the tourism reopening and COVID stuff gets way more views than than
Yeah,
all
it
the
does.
regular travel stuff, you know. So I don't know. I try to satisfy both, because I know I have some readers who really just want to, like, you know, escape to virtual travel
Right.
into the islands and stuff. But then there are others who really just want to follow what's going on. So I try to keep up with both.
The one article I saw was the Boulogne group of islands.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
may want to talk about that. What's this? I've never heard of them myself until you mentioned them. So
Yeah, it's called Bulan. Is like it's actually 3 islands, and then there are a bunch of little smaller islands around it. It's a little group of islands way down in Satun province, like pretty close to Malaysia. So it's like in
Mhm.
the same neighborhood kind of as Kalipe and called Taro Tau,
Okay.
like Taro Tau National Park. Um, and it's just kind of like pretty like off the beaten path islands. Like it's an interesting place because well, the native people there are Urak Lawoi people, who are like in Thailand they call them like Chao Lei, which means like sea people.
Okay.
And they're basically
That's
like they're like an ethnic minority that like they're used to be like semi nomadic. They live in Kalipe as well, and some other islands like they're in Phuket.
hello. I think we lost you guys. I wonder if the connection is still on. Can anybody hear me? Yeah, I guess we lost them. Maybe they'll come back on. Okay, you can see me. Let's see. Well, hopefully they'll come back on. Okay, let me invite them again. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if I can remove them and. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry, I was listening to them a lot. Okay, let me see if I can message them. I'm not sure if I can remove them and then add them again.
Hello.
Hello, we're back. There you are.
Yeah, well, our power just went down, so
Oh, wow.
I'm on the iPhone hotspot now. I think Chin's
Okay.
trying to get on, but yeah, I'm not
Okay.
sure if it'll work here or not.
You had a power
Yeah,
outage.
the whole power just went down in the building. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well,
yeah,
glad to see you back. Okay, so you're talking about Boulogne and the seafaring people there.
yeah, yeah. They've been able to kind of like maintain just like low level tourism and kind of maintain their ways of life and their culture, and not you know, pretty much avoid like the real like heavy tourism development that's happened on Calipe.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a success story in that way, that, you know, like they pretty much preserve the nature and the natural environment of the islands. Like there's only a few resorts like air conditioning, but mostly it's mostly it's just little bungalow places and stuff, and it's a beautiful little island. Kabulanle is the main island where you can stay, and it's really beautiful. Just tons of like flowers, and there's rubber farms, and it's not quite like Felipe good, but it's a nice island. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, definitely put that on my bucket list for sure. That's a great idea. I was gonna ask Chin, but she's not here. Can you hear me? I wonder if you can hear me.
No, I'm losing you. I don't know if it's gonna work here.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll end the broadcast there then, since we've been talking for about 1 hour. So I guess we're gonna end there, and I'll talk to you guys offline. I'm gonna thank. I want to thank you guys for coming in and talking, Chin and David. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Great to see Chin again. Great to meet you, David. Looking forward to see you guys next time I'm back in Thailand. And thank you so much for coming in. All that great information and great perspective about what's happening there. So thank you very much, David and Chin. And please make sure you follow them. If you look at my Twitter feed, you can see their information there. And you can subscribe to David's Substack, Thai Island Times. And that's a newsletter. You can pay $50 a month. It's just to support him. He's been telling us the situation there now. Things aren't that good. And you can check out Chin's website, Food Tours Bangkok, and you can follow her on Instagram, Chili Paste Tour. Book her tours in advance for next time you're in Thailand. Help her out. And follow her on Instagram. Fantastic photos of food there from Thailand. So thank you everybody who came in too. Thank you everybody for watching. And we'll see you guys next broadcast. Tomorrow I'll do one. Got an interesting one tomorrow. Bye for now.